Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bound here, and today I'm on sv.pokedb checking out the top teams from Season 31, which just ended last month. It's July 4th, so I just waited a few days until some of the articles were able to be written by these players, and so now we're gonna dive into it and just see how these teams were able to finish at the top. So the first team is Karana plus Lunala, so very strong defensive combination and offensive combination. This is the team right here. So yeah, Tinglu, Citrus Berry, we got Ruination, Whirlwind, Spikes, and Stealth Rock. We got Koraidon with Choice Scarf, Terra Fire, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Outrage, and U-Turn. Lunala with a Choice Specs, which is very interesting. So I'm guessing the reasoning behind this is, Phantom Guard gives you a lot of chances to move because, a lot of chances to actually, make a move because it's kind of similar to multi-skill. You have that guaranteed, survivability on a lot of options in the game, and then with the choice specs, you're just basically winning against the Pokemon in front of you. So that's very valuable in a 3v3 metagame. Just winning those, 1v1 matchups. Just having Pokemon with high performance, like Specs Lunala right here. So we got Moongeist Beam, Moonblast, Psycho Shock. Or that's what it says. It's Psy Shock and Psychic. So yeah. And then we got Chien-Pao with the Focus Hash, Icicle Crash, Sacred Sword, Sucker Punch, and Sheer Cold. Now, a lot of you guys might be, that might be a controversial thing. A Sheer Cold might be controversial, but in Regulation I, we're basically in a quest for roll compression, right? So Chien-Pao with Sheer Cold is able to, deal with those Pokemon with those walls that take forever to actually kill the opponent. So for example, Dondozo, you got Toxapex, you got Olomomola, those really bulky water types that cannot die to normal options. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to pull out your cold, and this is just how it works right now, because with Generation 9 we did get some really strong offensive options, but we also got some really strong defensive tools as well. So that's why Sheer Cold, and also things like Fissure, Tinglu, Dondozo, Landorus, things like that, and other one KO moves are used on very strong Pokemon because they're just used in very specific situations. So then we got the Garganical with the Salt Cure, Protect, Curse, and Recover. So these with the Terra Ghost right there, basically turning the curse into the self-inflicting curse, and then doing the 25% on the opponent. So this is just like a damage over time Pokemon that seeks to wear down stall builds. Especially Gliscor and Ho-Oh, right? Gliscor and Ho-Oh are very potent defensive Pokemon in this regulation. And so being able to threaten Curse, regardless of, their Terra type or, just options in general, just is really consistent right there, especially since Garg is so tanky, they can't really take advantage of the Curse and kill it immediately. So that's the thing with that. And so, yeah. And then we also got Landorus with the Choice Band, Terra Normal, with Earthquake, Rock Slide, Facade, and U-Turn. So very interesting option right there. So in general, this team just seeks to just win the 1v1 matchups and wear down the opponent. Because like I said, we got the hazards Tinglu with the Whirlwind, just maximum disruption, the Ruination, just putting the opponent in range of, the legendaries or Chien-Pao or Landorus, things like that. Because like I said, there's a lot of defensive walls in the metagame right now. So getting those hazard stacks is really important. And then just, Choice Scarf, Koraidon is very stable in the meta right now. And then, just like both these Pokemon are very stable right now, especially this with the Choice Scarf. So very stable legendary combination. Chien-Pao with the Focus Hash is very stable as well. And then that surprise option with the Landorus with the Choice Band makes the team very solid. Also giving the team immunity to, ground types like Fissures and Earthquakes. And the Intimidate support is always important as well. Also always helpful. So very strong team. I'm not going to get into the details of the article because that would take too long, but yeah, main points, these four Pokemon right here, you got the two legendaries, Chien-Pao and Tinglu, just very, these strong, very top four Pokemon, very strong right there. And then these Pokemon are just strong in unique situations where these four are not able to produce a victory. And so you just have your basic four, your basic selections, right? Or even have a basic 3. You just make it very simple for the actual playing process, right? So that's pretty much it. And then we got problematics like Calyrex-Shadow plus Ho-Oh, But yeah, regardless, it's still a very stable team, and that's the reason why I was able to get first place right there. And then the next team we got, so we got Calyrex-Shadow plus Koraidon, right? So Koraidon has been popping up a lot, on these teams. So yeah, we got Calyrex Focus Sash plus Koraidon. So we got the Absolute Barrage, Psychic Shock, Grass Knot, and Encore. So very stable, Calyrex the Focus Sash is one of the most stable options in the metagame right now. You just have to watch out for Scarf, like Scarves, Volt Switch, Scarf U-turns and all that, but still just being able to guarantee a lot of, like guarantee that you do something is really valuable, especially with the Encore. Like I said in the Calyrex counterplay video, Encore makes it so much harder to deal with, so much harder to counter, It's just crazy because, like, you can't just have a wall. You can't just use any walls, right? Like, without any repercussions. You have to, fear the Encore. So, and then obviously the Grass Terror with the Grass not able to do massive damage to Tinglu or Saluna and just other, these bulky walls that are being used, like, even, like, this definitely when it KOs Dondozo with the Terra Grass. So that's something that's cool right there. And, yeah, speaking of, Koraidon once again. So, first and second place teams had Koraidon, plus fourth place as well. But the Scale Shot loaded dice build is very strong right now, because especially after you get your sword stance, Scale Shot is very hard to stop, unless you have, like, Unaware. But even then, Scale Shot can pierce through Unawares, like, or it can just do a lot of damage in general. So, and then just that Fire Terror just to boost the Flare Blitz and the Flame Charge. So, like, for example, if Koraidon goes against a Fairy type, Scale Shot won't work, and then you won't get a speed boost, but you can just use Flame Charge to get that speed boost. So, very consistent options right there. So yeah, Koraidon's just very strong. And then a lot of teams have been doing this, spreading out the bulk between bulky walls for like the remaining slots, or for 3 out of the 4 remaining slots. So you'll see Tinglu plus Dondozo is a very easy combination, very well-known combination, as you may have seen since Regulation C. For over 2 years we've been dealing with Tinglu plus Dondozo, right? So it's kind of crazy how these two are just still good, especially in the legendary environments, just because their stats are just insane. Their bulk stats are insane. And yeah, type coverage as well, like the type synergy is very good. So yeah, and they both get fissures, so they're able to threaten switches on offensive threats after walling them, and then throw out fissures on the switch-ins, unless it's like a levitating Pokemon like Dragonite or something, or Landorus. But in the current regulation, a lot of teams are actually not really running, or a good amount of teams don't have ground immunities, so those fissures are gonna land at some point. So that's why these Pokemon are just so stressful. They become very stressful to face, especially when you're dealing with Yawn on Dondozo as well. Because Goldengo's you can't, unless you have a Lumberry or Goldengo, Yawn is always going to be an option. You can also have Electric Terrain from Miraidon as well, but Yawn is always a looming threat. So yeah, you got Tinglu with the Steel Terror, Earthquake, Fissure, Ruination, and Heavy Slam. And then you got Dondozo with Wave Crash, Fissure, Yawn, and Protect. This is this is what we used to see in Regulation A and B. This is the standard Dondozo, and it still works after all these 3 years, almost 3 years of Scarlet and Violet. This Dondozo is still so good. And then we got Gliscor. So Gliscor, as I talked about in my previous video, Gliscor is a very big threat because it can end a match. If you get an advantage, it can just quickly end matches just by stalling, right? So yeah, very threatening Pokemon. And then Clodsire for that Water Absorb. So being able to deal with Miraidon and Kyogre, things like that. So because Tinglu and Dondozo cannot deal with Kyogre, so that's the thing about Clodsire right there. So this team just has very common offensive threats while having the most common defensive threats. It just makes it a very solid team right there. So not really much to say. It's just they just go over the EV spreads and all that. And problematic Pokemon: Substitute Koraidon, Sash Toxic Spikes Gliscor, Ho-Oh that is faster with Gliscor with Substitute, and Galarian Weezing obviously. I'm guessing that's a neutralizing gas Galarian Weezing, because obviously neutralizing gas against Gliscor can mess it up, make the poison actually kill it instead of heal, and then blocking out the sun. Like it just neutralizing gas has some pretty cool uses. Specs Chiyu obviously is able to throw out those flamethrowers and overheats and break through a lot of stuff. That makes sense. Threatens the Calyrex-Shadow as well, especially since it doesn't have any. I mean, Astro Barrage is the strongest option, which is resisted. So yeah. So yeah, pretty solid. Like, there's not really anything to say. Like, it's just a very standard. Like, it's just a very solid team, honestly. So let's move on to the next one. So we got third place, and we'll check out this team. So we got Terra Ground Zacian with Behemoth Blade, Terra Blast, with a Trailblaze, yeah, it's Trailblaze and Swords Dance. You got Miraidon, Terra Fairy with, Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Dazzling Gleam, and Overheat. So the Overheat, probably for things like Iron Treads, which has been a looming threat, increasing in usage throughout the metagame. And then just other options right there. Sash Flutter with Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Taunt, and Pain Split. Grimmsnarl, Terra Ground with Leftovers. We got the Spirit Break, Sucker Punch, Thunder Wave, and Parting Shot. Urshifu with Dark Terror, which is interesting. We got Surging Strikes, Focus Punch, Aqua Jet, and Sub. So if you don't know what Focus Punch tech is for, it's for it can actually break through Dondozos, especially combined with the Sub, because Godozo cannot yawn you. And so it's able to basically lure out Dondozos, kill them before Zacian comes out. So it's a very good way of doing that. And then you got the Landorus with the Rocky Helmet, Earthquake, U-Turn, Taunt, and Stealth Rock. So 8Lu is actually the player 8Lu. He's been playing throughout the entire generation. He's a really good player. And yeah, this is a very solid team. Grimmsnarl and the Flutter Mane, good at stopping various threats. And then you got the two breaking the legendaries with the highest breaking power in the game, and then you got Urshifu and Landorus, very solid like team slots, non-legendary team slots. So yeah, this is I actually kind of like this Aqua Jet to finish off some enemies, and then if Dondozo comes in, you sub Focus Punch. Like that seems really solid, because I've used sub bulk up, but I think Aqua Jet just kind of increases its flexibility a little bit. That's actually really cool. So that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I've used this Landorus before with the Terra Water. I've used this exact set before. It's just really solid, in any metagame. Honestly, it gets so much value with the Intimidate as well. So yeah, Grimmsnarl has been used quite a bit as well. So it's more of the disturbing type. It's not the not the screens, right? But it's just meant to cycle around and just switch. It can switch in and out with the Parting Shot and just allow these threats to prosper even better. So I kind of like this Grimmsnarl. It enables other Pokemon in just a different way compared to screens, because obviously this team doesn't have, it's not, constant. Like, you do have a lot of pressure, but it's not constant. It's just not like setting up to sweep all the time. Like, the Miraidon isn't a setup Miraidon. It's just a straight up breaking power Miraidon. So that's why you don't really need screens necessarily. So that's really cool. So let's move on to the next team. We got Karada once again. We'll go ahead and open up the team here. So I will zoom in a little bit more here. So we got Karada with the Choice Band, Terra Fairy, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Outrage, and U-Turn. Lulala with the Power Herb, Terra Normal. What's this? It's called Shadow Ray in Japanese. It's Moongeist Beam. Ice Beam, Meteor Beam, and Trick Room. So Trick Room being able to flip the tables on faster Pokemon like Calyrex-Shadow and Miraidon, things like that. And Zacian. Chiyu with the Choice Specs, Overheat, Flame. Yeah, pretty standard Choice Spec set. And then Gliscor, the standard Stalling set with that Terra Seal, which is also standard. Tinglu, the standard Assault Vest set, and Dondozo. A little bit of an off-standard Yawn set. Usually you don't see Rest with Yawn, but it's very good at just stopping the opponent. And so, this is like I'm saying, with the Tinglu plus Dondozo, just very common and just very solid. It will never be bad. Like, even, I feel like in the, if we ever get 4 restricted or 3 restricted, you still see Tinglu plus Dondozo. They're just way too good, together. So yeah, this is very, very similar to this team, where you have the two strong legendary options, and then defensive Pokemon to threaten any walls, or just threaten other legendary Pokemon. Chiyu to threaten the walls, and then Gliscor to threaten other walls as well. So it's just that's why Regulation I is so scary, because like there's a lot of things to threaten. Like you have to try like a lot of different options to actually find what suits you, because you'll get punished if you just directly try to counter the legendaries. You'll get punished by the other team slots. So that's the thing about it. You have to really think about the team building. And so, but yeah, this is very solid. The trigger option to adapt to a situation. But yeah, pretty standard nonetheless. So let's move on to the 5th place team, which is on Twitter or on X. So we got Sash Ditto and we got Kyogre with the Assault Vest. This is Water Spout, Surf, Thunder, and Ice Beam. Leftovers Calyrex with the Astral Barrage, Raining Kiss, Taunt, and Calm Mind. I actually use this Calyrex. This is the first Calyrex I ever used in Scarlet and Violet. It's a really nice set. And you got the Ghost Knot Screen support with Foul Place, Reflect Light Screen, and Thunder Wave. This is a pretty standard set. Tinglu, Earthquake, Payback, Terrablast Fairy, and Taunt. So this Tinglu is used for, a little bit like dealing with some defensive options, like with Taunt, just being able to wear them down, lure them in and wear them down. And then Dragonite with the Scale Shot, Iron Head, Encore, and Dragonite's very standard set. With the Encore Dragonite's Encore is very scary to deal with no matter what metagame it is, because they're game-ending options. So yeah, very solid team. You obviously have the Grimmsnarl setting up screens for the Calyrex. Which uses Calm Mind and Taunt to shut down defensive, Whirlwinds and defensive play. And then you got the Dragonite as well. So Calyrex and Dragonite are very good together as well. So now this team, I think I'm going to go over 3 more teams. And then we'll call it. So this team this is a very well-known player as well. And I really like the team too as well, because it has a lot of unique options that can be utilized at higher levels of play. So we got a Calyrex-Shadow with Terra Normal, Astral Barrage, Disable, Encore, and Protect. So the Disable works well with Protect because you can scout their option, disable it or Encore it, depending on what you want, and then you can bring in a Shadow Sweeper like Chien-Pao to set up, or you can bring in Miraidon. Because, for example, if they kill you, like for example, let's say you get to Tinglu, right? It's like an Assault Vest Tinglu or something, like this, or let's say you're going up against this with the Calyrex, right? You use Protect, because yeah, people will switch in Tinglu all day to Calyrex, right? So you use Protect, it throws out a Payback, right? So once you've scouted out the Payback, you can Encore that, and then it kills you, and then you bring in Chien-Pao and Swords Dance, and since Chien-Pao has the Nevermelt Ice here, it increases the reach of the Ice Shard, being able to KO a wider variety of threats at higher variety of HPs. And since you're able to wear these threats down with hazards and the Toxic spikes, Stealth Rocks from multiple Pokemon here, this Chien-Pao can just clean up a match, especially with the Terra Fire, making it good against Ho-Oh as well, just preventing the burn from Sacred Fire as well as reducing that damage. So this is a very strong. I actually really like the way they built this Chien-Pao, very strong. And yeah, Calyrex plus Pao is a very strong offensive combination as well. So yeah, you got the other Pokemon that's, just get up those hazards. Like, you got the Meowscarada with the, Trick Flower, the Flower Trick, the, knockoff, Toxic Spikes and Spikes. This works against slower defensive builds, because you want to throw out, you'll get more actions, just more moves that way. Gastrodon is really good against more offensive builds, especially against Miraidon and Kyogre. You can just you won't really take much from those, and then you can just get Stealth Rocks and Spikes and start yawn looping the opponent. And then you can just put the opponent in range of the sweepers. So yeah, and then we got Great Tusk here with the Dark Terra, Bulldoze, Knockoff, Rapid Spin, and Stealth Rock. So this one works if you want to, counter lead. Like for example, they have Glamora. Tusk really does really well against Glamora lead, because you can bulldoze them down, and then if they're a Sash Glamora, you can just bulldoze them down, Stealth Rock, and then Rapid Spin to get the KO, then Speed Boost. I think this is a speed boosting Tusk, because I feel like with this kind of moveset, you'd want to have bulk, and just you really need offense for this. It's just support moves like Bulldoze and Rapid Spin. Those are supports, so I think it's like a plus speed booster energy Tusk. So yeah, very solid team. And then we got Miraidon with the Electric Seed. Was this Electro Drift, Dragon Pulse, Water Terra Blast, and the Agility right there. So Electric Seed giving that defense boost, and then you have the support from the hazards as well. So you don't really need since you have the support from the hazards, you won't really need Calm Mind, or you really need to boost your offense because the hazard's already helping you chipping the opponents down in range. So that's kind of the concept here. And so I really like this team. I really like this team, and they have obviously all the breakdowns. So you can look at all this if you really want to, and also what to select in different situations. Very organized article. I really love the way these players write these articles. It's just very easy to understand. And so yeah, go over two more teams here. So we have Calyrex-Shadow and Miraidon once again. So very similar to the team we just saw. We Calyrex-Shadow, Miraidon. But these two are just pure set. They're both pure setup builds. So it's meant to piggyback off the Grimmsnarl screens, and then yeah, the hazards from Ting-Lu. So and then yeah, the standard Sash Pow, and then the Urshifu. So let's go over so we got, like I said, Grimmsnarl just gets up screens, so it allows a legendary to set up and potentially sweep or lower the opponent down to where the next Pokemon can come in and finish off the opponent. So this player, Maki Poke, is actually very known for using these kind of builds where you set up hazards or screens and then just bring in the sweepers. So that's just very solid options right there. And yeah, just the reliability of Ting-Lu, just getting the Stealth Rock, getting the chipping with the Ruination, getting the Whirlwinds on Gliscors and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Gliscor can still be a problem, but that's why they have the Urshifu, because Gliscor with Taunt can be very bad. Like, Ting-Lu cannot touch Gliscor if it has Taunt, so you still have to, play around that, but overall, Ting-Lu is just very reliable, Grimmsnarl is very reliable, and you just have good Pokemon that can sweep the opponent. So not really much else to say. It's just really solid. Now this team really stood out to me, honestly. This team really stood out to me, and I was actually building a team very similar to this. Unfortunately, this player kind of was able to. I mean, now it won't be as hidden anymore. I had a very similar concept to this team. But yeah, I'm happy that it was able to perform very well. So we have a Miraidon with the Assault Vest. I showed this set in a previous video. Ho-Oh with the leftovers with the Sacred Fire, Protect, Whirlwind, and Recover. So the reason why... So Ho-Oh is just able to just prosper in a lot of situations due to the Whirlwind and Recover and, Protect. Working well with the leftovers. Just very good with Miraidon as well. And then you have the Urshifu Dark, which is something I've been thinking was very good for the longest time, especially versus all the Lunalas, and all this stuff, right? So yeah, I think it's very good right now. And you got the Dark Terror to just push the power of Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch even more. Banded Iron Shreds, Earthquake, Iron Head, Ice Spinner, and Stone Edge. Dondo's with Citrus Berry, Yawn, Earthquake, Rest, and Protect. So Yawn, Earthquake, Rest, and Protect. Glamora with a Air Balloon, Power Gem, Earth Tower, Mortal Spin, and Stealth Rock. So very, very good team. I really like this because Dark Urshifu is actually very underrated. I feel like it's very underrated. So especially combined with Toxic Spec support and Poison support, Sucker Punch is going to be stronger because you can force options from the opponent. And then the Salvus Miraidon is just so good at in a lot of things that it's just so good in those 1v1 situations, and then U-turn just being able to pivot out on things like Ting-Lu's and other ground types is very good as well. So this team just has a lot of synergy in itself, and yeah, just some surprises like they banded Treads that could also gain a speed boost from the electric terrain support and it blocks out other opponents' Yawns. So I guess you do have to worry about using your own Yawn here because you do have the terrain, but I mean, obviously, Dondozo can just protect, install your own terrain away to get a Yawn off or something, which is kind of funny. But yeah, this is a very good team, very strong team. Just good, synergy, good Pokemon against the overall metagame. And yeah, I honestly wish this team would get first place because I think is the best team out of all of these, to be honest. Also, the most like kind of create. I think it's the most creative as well. I just really like it. So yeah, that's pretty much all the top teams I'm gonna go over in this video. If you have any other teams that you kind of liked in here, I'll link this. I'll put this link in the description so you can see these teams. If you have any teams that you liked, I'm here. Be sure to let me know, and I'll definitely take a look at it. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed that, and I'll see you all in the next one.